So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's session of After Hours with William O'Neill India, dated November 2, 2022. So, before we go ahead, I would like to give a small disclaimer that any stock, any security that we might discuss in today's session should not be considered as a buy or sell recommendation, and we are just doing it for educational purpose. So, let us start with Nifty 50's chart analysis for the day. And going with the SGX Nifty, your even Nifty had a gap up opening and it went above the 18,160 near the 18,200 mark, and then it started to fall, as you can see, as Nifty was unable to hold its gain. So the today's high was very close to yesterday's high, and can be more because on account of major macroeconomic events lined up for tonight, plus later on the week in terms of your RBI meeting tonight, in terms of your FOMC meeting. We'll be discussing more of that in the coming slide as well. And if you look at it, Nifty at the end closed in the lower quartile range, which is not a good sign. And what we were, sorry, really sorry for the glitch. Really sorry. So what we were initially talking about in the morning session, who might be present in the morning session, that is in the pre-bell session, we were talking about like if your Nifty would have taken out this 18,350 level, that is the 52-week high mark, then even without the FTD, that is an alternative rule, we could have shift the markets to confirmed uptrend. But we didn't get that, and Nifty found like a real pressure around yesterday's high, and probably went down and closed near the day's lows or in the lower quartile of the day's range. So let's see in terms of how the policy comes out. 75 bips is probably priced into the market that will take your federal funds rate to 4% range, the 4 to 4.25% range. And the majorly it's more important would be the dot plot in terms of understanding where the 2023 your target rate can end in terms of their view on in terms of inflation expectations as well, like when are they expecting inflation to probably abide by, and how much it will affect the growth in the US economy. So overall, all this is likely to keep the uh, US market in tonight's session really busy, and probably your Asian markets and Indian markets in tomorrow's session as well. So considering the top gainers and losers for the day, the top gainers were the Hindalco, which is around gained around 1.6%. The others were Sun Pharma, ITC, ONGC, and Techem as they gained 1.5, 1.31, and 0.8%. On the flip side, the losers were your Bharati Airtel, which declined by 3.1%, Appolo Hospitals by 2.9, Maruti by 2.4, Asia Motors by 1.8, and Britannia by 1.5. Talking about the sector view, as you guys can see from the chart, that it was like a very mixed bag in terms of media, metal, and pharma were the top gainers. And if you talk about top losers, PSU Bank was the top loser, your Realty was the top loser, and Nifty Auto, as you can see. So it was clearly a mixed bag in today's session. But as you can see, even Bank Nifty closed around 0.4% lower. Probably that provided the your not initial, your incremental pressure on the your Nifty as an index, as it has the highest weight in the Nifty index. The result season is still going on, and your Mahindra Holidays reported result. It wasn't a good set of numbers, as the Q2 revenue increased by only 9.5% YOY to 598 crore. EBITDA was down 1.6%, and EBITDA margin contracted by used 220 pips to 19.5%. Dalmia Bharat Q2 FY23 PAT was down 94.4% YOY to 11 crores. Revenue increased by 15.6% YOY to 2,701 crores. EBITDA margin contracted from 12% to 5%. FSL's Q2 FY23 revenue was up 1% YY to 1,487 crores. EBITDA grew by 5.5% YY. EBITDA margin expanded 50 bips to 12.8%. Grindwell Norton, we'll be discussing more of the stock in the coming slides as well. Had a good set of numbers in terms of Q2 revenue, increased by 23.8% YOY. EBITDA grew by 21.1% YOY, and EBITDA margins contracted by 50 bips YOY to 19.3%. Talking about the global macro, the most important event is your FOMC meeting and the announcement of your federal funds rate, which is expected a 75 bips rate hike from 3.25% to 4%. Even your ADP non-farm employment data, that is the employment numbers in the US, is an important number. Previous numbers was around 208K, and this month is expected around 178K. So overall, these two would be the key trackables for the US market at the moment. So talking about the chart of the day is Grindwell Norton. After giving a good set of numbers today, we'll be discussing this stock. And before we go ahead, I would like to give a small disclaimer again that it's not a buy or sell recommendation at the moment, and we'll be just doing it for education purpose and probably to keep the stock in track and in our buy watch list as we go ahead. So with Grindwell Norton, it's into abrasives, into ceramic materials. In abrasives, it has a full range of bonded abrasive, coated abrasives, thin wheels, and super abrasives. In ceramic materials, also in the ceramic material refractory business, in the plastic and the silicon carbide business under its subsidiary Saint Gobain Ceramic Materials Bhutan Private Limited in Bhutan, and it operates under several brands which include Norton, Orient Abrasive, Chemfab, Uniseal, Norseal, Rulon, etc. The industry that is catered to is a very wide one, which includes mainly into autos, but it also goes into steel, your auto ancillaries, cutting tools, needle, razors, food processing, aerospace, general engineering, and more. So we already discussed about the numbers. It was a good set of numbers. And similarly, if we talk on the fundamental profile only, we can see that it's been delivering a good set of numbers since the last 7 to 8 quarters. And similarly can be seen with the superior ROE as well of 19%. And overall, as we can see, the EPS rating is really good. And price strength is fair at 67. But as you can see, the last tick, the RS line has been moving higher, and that too with the volumes, which is really a good sign. It probably some days back or some couple of months back, it broke out from a stage 1 base, hit its power to pivot, and then it's kind of consolidating on lower volumes. As you can see, the fall was on low volume, so that's a really good sign, and it's currently forming a stage 2 base, and it's around 7% to the pivot. So we have time. We can probably monitor the stock and look at it how it probably behaves around its pivot. If you look at the fundamentals as well, and the institutional support has been rising. Number of funds have risen to 183 from like 116 4 quarters back, which is really good. It's almost doubled the number of funds. And even if you look at the EPS estimates for 23 and 24, it's nearly a 18-20% rise for 23 and 24, which is a really good sign in terms of fundamental as well as on the technical front, on the O'Neill front as well. So what probably is left for the stock at the moment is to have a good breakout on above average volumes, and probably the markets to remain supportive as well and have good macroeconomic support for the market as well going forward. So that's it from our side, and probably stay tuned, stay connected with us on the pre-bell and the after hours session of morning 8:45, evening 4:30, and tomorrow we'll be conducting a special session, that is the stock darbar session at 4:30 p.m. So you can get your stock queries resolved stock, sector queries, macro queries resolved with us tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Thank you.